Happy Sunday, stampers and paper crafters. This is Facebook Live number 420. Wow. I never thought that I would have had 420 Facebook Lives. That is pretty cool. I don't remember when I started, so I should have put that down. So it is Sunday, July 25th, 2025. My name is Joy Borwedge, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I live in Burnsville, Minnesota, and I have been a demonstrator since August of 1999. Right now, there's like a really severe thunderstorm coming through, so if I lose anything, that's where we're at. But so far, I just kind of see a couple dark clouds out of the window, but there's a lot of things that are coming towards the cities. All right, so I'm going to put you down at the table in just a second. If you get motion sickness or anything like that, just look away, and I'll let you know when I am done messing around with camera. All right, so hold on. So hopefully everybody had a nice weekend so far. All right, let's take that down and unwind it. I tighten it so that the weight doesn't kind of make the camera go, kind of like this, my phone. And so I'm just loosening up so that I could twist it down to my, hi Dawn, welcome. Hope you are doing well. All right, so we're gonna get this camera going. I think we're good, right? And we're straight. We're gonna put light on the subject. Okay, so first things first, let's see here. My name is Joy Borwedge, and I have an Instagram page at Stampin' for Joy. My YouTube page is Joy A. Borwedge, and my online store is stampinforjoy.stampinup.net. penguinz33@outlook.com is my email, so that if you do not have a catalog, you can certainly request one, and I would be happy to send you one if you do not have a demonstrator that you're working with. And then my Facebook page is Stampin' for Joy as well. My Facebook Lives go live on Joy Borwedge, and then I transfer them to the YouTube page and to the Facebook page. And then when I get done with my Facebook Live, I take pictures and post it on Instagram and my Pinterest page. And coming up, we have my friends and I put on this event, and you could go to www.thestampinevent.com. Our next event is Saturday, November 1st, and so that way you can get enough time to put that in your calendar. It is basically the first day after Halloween, so what fun you can do on a Saturday. And the product that we're going to be using probably is the majority of the holiday mini catalog that's coming out. We haven't had a chance to see it yet, but I heard there's some cute online exclusives that are being released in September as well, and that will be available also for that event. So check that out. Then I want to tell you that I am going to be having a stamp camp coming out, and this is one of the cards that you will be making at my stamp camp. It is going to be at my apartment in Burnsville, so if you are in the Twin Cities and you want to be invited, I haven't sent out the invitation yet, but I worked on one of the cards today, and this is using the new Sunflower embossing folder, and it's not available to purchase right now, but it will be coming back mid-August. And my stamp camp is going to be August 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, and so I'll be posting, I'll be sending out invitations for that. But if you wish to be put on my email address, send me a message at penguinz33@outlook.com and request to be put on my newsletter. Now, I have been going through my Facebook Lives, and I have been recreating the cards starting from number 1. And actually, I think number 1 I didn't keep, or I threw away, or whatever, but I kept number 2. And so what I've been doing is going back and recreating the card. So this happens to be Facebook Live number 6, and I recreated it using, this is 418, and using the Painterly Pairs suite. And so this is a lock card, and that is the inside. And so you can go back to Facebook Live number 418 and see the recreation of this one, but using a new product that is available now. Like I said, I did not date these, so I don't know how long it's taken me to do 420 Facebook Lives, but it's been a while. So check that out if you want to go back in. Now, today's Facebook Live was inspired by Facebook Live number 7, I believe. Yep, Facebook Live number 7. All I have is this. Hi, Lori, welcome. And so this card is a super cute card using designer series paper, and I cut out that image. And so today's card is going to be using product that is from the online exclusives, and they just were released July 1st. And so let me show you what we're going to be using. Oops. Dropping stuff all over the floor. So we're using the artistic leaves, and that is in the online store right now, available. And it's really cool that you stamp. I'm going to show you how to actually make this and have it stamped. But this stamp, we don't have dies with it, so you're going to have to fussy cut, and it's actually really easy. Now, the designer series paper that we are using for this card is called Need for Tweed, and it is actually pretty fun. You get 1, 2, 3, 4 sheets of paper, and then you get 3 of each sheet, so you don't feel bad using them. So today we're going to be using this one right here, and the colors that coordinate with this are basic beige, basic black, cherry cobbler, early espresso, old olive, and pecan pie. And the it's a 12 by 12 designer series paper, and it is in the online store as well. And we're also using the textured note dies, and that is cutting the sentiment verse out, and that's the one that was up here. This is an online exclusive. It is in the Botanical Textures Suite collection. But if you type in the word textured notes in the Hi Judy, if you type the textured note dies in the search bar, this will automatically come up. We're also using the mini corrugated 3D embossing folder that is actually the same suite collection as this. And so we're going to be playing with that. And so, like I said, this card was pretty similar. I did not have a die to cut out, but I used the mini embossing folder, and I cut out. Luckily, I had to cut out in Facebook Live number 6. Okay, I had to cut out the puppy dog. Well, these leaves, they do not have dies, so I had to fussy cut them out as well. And I used the twine to wrap around the designer series this right here, the gray part. But instead, I used the Baker's Twine Essential Pack. It's on page 127 in the annual catalog. And we're also using the Strawberry Slush and Pink, Pretty in Pink Gems. And they're an online exclusive. And we're going to be using the clear ones today. So that's basically all the product that we're using. But see how it's similar, but totally different. Okay? What I was thinking about doing, and also this one is an open up side. This one's a flap. Okay? So it's opening from the top. So again, I'm recreating the cards so that because Facebook Lives are only living for 30 days and then they get deleted, I'm kind of going back in and redoing my things that you could see how they look and with new products. And still, I'm casing myself basically, and it's kind of cool. All right, so I'm going to take a drink. All right, I am having cherry and pomegranate lemonade, so num num num. Okay, and so you could kind of see the gold in those colors. Now we are in the midst of summer, and so that is why I'm using colors that kind of make me feel summery, but kind of going towards more fall. So I'm going to show you how to make this card. It's pretty easy and fun to play with, those different textures. Now you could certainly use the Botanicals Textures Suite collection that's in the online store and use everything in there and make the same card. So that's a lot of fun. All right, so we have a piece of basic beige. It's a 3x3. I have 3 of these pieces. It's just scrap, and it's basic beige, and they are 1/4 by 2. Then a piece of that designer series paper, so it's 4 and 5 1/4, and that's the back side. So I had a really hard choice which one to use, and so I decided to go with the bigger print on the base, and then use the smaller print, which is 2x4 on the front. And then we have a piece of early espresso, so it is 1 3/4 by 3 1/4. A piece of basic beige, it is 4 1/4 by 1, so that was another scrap piece. And then we have the card, and this is basic beige, so it is 11 inches by 4 1/4, and I scored it at 5 1/2. All right, so I'm just going to let that sit there for just a few seconds. And what I like to do with that is, I'm just going to move the camera a little bit. All right, what I like to do with that is allow you to come back in and say, you know what, Joy made a really cool card, very easy, not hard to duplicate. And so I'm going to come back in and recreate that card. And so then all you have to do is pause, get everything cut up, and then you can recreate it with me. Alrighty. Like I said, it's actually very easy. And as I was writing these numbers, I had a piece, or I had my finger in my hand and my marker, and I put a marker piece on there by accident. But you know what? We're covering it up. Not going to use a new piece, and that is going right on front. So we're getting rid of that right away. Okay, and that goes right here. And okay, so we're gonna leave this alone for just a moment, and we're gonna put that through the Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine with the folder, the mini corrugate. I put that over to the side by accident, so we're going to do that. And then we're going to stamp on these images, and then we're going to die cut them. Or fussy cut them is what I meant to say. Okay, And then this piece actually does get die cut. So I'm going to grab my Stampin' Pearson mat. And we're going to grab the stamps. I'm just going to lay them right here. And that way I'm not going to be searching for everything. Stampin' Up! Really did a great job with this leaf set. I love leaf sets. Fall is my favorite season. We're going to take early espresso. I got married in October, and it is still my favorite season. So we're going to do Hello, Sweet Friend. And we're going to just tap, tap, tap. And that is going to go right there. There we go. And that is an early espresso. And just going to clean that off because we're not going to use it again. All right. And then we're going to close this up for, no, we're not. We're going to move it over to the side because we're going to use that in just a moment. So we're going to die cut that. Okay. We're going to put that there. And then we're going to stamp our main leaf image. Now I am just going to use the, let's see, what did I use in this? I put it away by accident, didn't I? Yes, I did. I used Cajun Craze. In the card that I showed you earlier in the beginning, this is the card that we're going to be doing at my stamp camp, and I used Cajun Craze in there, and I put it away after I got done. I forgot to put it back in my bin that I'm using tonight. This is an actual distinctive stamp, and we're just going to push that down, and you could see the color shading, and they're made by dots. So more dots means it's more intense, and lighter the dots less dots means it's going to show less color. And so there we go with the Cajun Craze. Now we're going to do the inside of the card, and we're going to stamp off, and that means we're going to take the original color and stamp it on the sheet like that, and then we're going to stamp a little bit there. Okay, so we're going to stamp the inside of the card. Okay, and we're going to again stamp the main image off, or the main color, so we're stamping off. And there we get another one, and our last one down here. All right, so that's going to be our inside of our card, and we're going to clean that off in just a moment. We're going to take that Cajun Craze and close it up, and then we're going to grab the inside sentiment, and that is in Early Espresso, and that's going to say grateful for you. And I'm going to put that over to the left of that, and we're going to clean that off. All right, so then we're going to close that up for just a moment. I'm going to let that dry because part of that was a little wet. So we're just going to clean off our stamps using the Simply Chamois. And this is a new set, so I just wanted to make sure that I'm trying to cleaning it as quickly as I can, because it's going to stain, some color stain, and that's okay. You could still see through it, but it has a pretty color. Cajun Craze. Okay, so then now we're going to take the let's see here. This one is our image that is going to fill in. Now you can leave it as is, or you can fill in, and I want to fill in. So we're going to use crumb cake. Now I wanted just a little bit different color because this is basic beige. I wanted a little bit different rather than, hi Tina, welcome. Okay, so I'm going to use my pointy leaf to kind of center me on this. And I've only done this twice. So like I said, I just got the stamp. And so I'm sure there's an easy way to get everything lined up. How you doing, Tina? All right, and I did a pretty good job getting that shading in. Isn't that cool? Okay, so then we'll put that over to the side, and now we're going to close up the crumb cake, and we're going to do cherry cobbler, and we're going to do pecan pie, because I think that's what I had. Yep, I did. We're going to do 3 leaves, 1, 2, and 3, and we're going to stamp the original leaf, this one, in cherry cobbler. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and now when you have distinctive, you want to make sure that your ink pads are not juicy. So I have shown the spoon technique several times, and trying to stay cool. Yeah, I know. Where do you live, Tina? Do you live in Minnesota? I don't remember. It is very warm here in Burnsville. I do not like it. All right. So there we go. We're just putting a little bit of color in there. Lakeville. Yeah, okay. So you are just a tad bit south. Apparently it looks like we're going to be getting some thunderstorms soon. Okay. Yeah, I haven't gone out. Yesterday, which was Saturday, I sat on my deck from 11 to 2 and was just sweating. And I wasn't doing anything. I watered the plants, and I was looking on my phone and watching videos, and then I was trying to get the hummingbird that was frequenting my deck, and she is very elusive. And then he came over, but anyways, I had to take a shower after I was just sitting there. Okay, so now, because these do not have dies, we are going to take a paper snips, and we're just gonna fussy cut. And I could have had these already done for you, but you know what? I'm gonna turn to the light so I don't have a shadow. But anyways, if you want to make this card, I want to show you how long it takes to do things. And sometimes I do the magic of television, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't always do that. I do it sometimes. There's one leaf. It didn't take too long, did it? And plus, when you are cutting, fussy cutting, you want to keep your scissors my scissors are still, and my hand, my left hand, I'm right-handed, as you can tell, is doing the cutting, or the maneuvering of the paper. And the more you fussy cut, the better you get at it, and the faster you get at it. Now, there's a little bit of over stamping there, but that's okay, because we can purposely fix that by our placement. And we're going to be using Wink of Stella on this, like, you know, whoever follows me would know. Wink of Stella on almost everything. Okay, now let's do the big leaf. I just want to face towards the light, so then when I'm cutting, it's the shadow of the scissors are not prohibiting me to see. But I really like this stamp set because it's really different from the ones we've had in the past. And you have quite a few different color combination ideas that can go with this leaf. And because I mean, when fall is starting to come around, actually there are a few leaves on the tree in front of my apartment window that some of the leaves have already started their discoloration, and it could be, you know, too much rain. I mean, I don't think this apartment complex waters their lawns. At least in the time that I've lived here, since last year, February, I haven't noticed any sprinklers going off. But right now, God's taking care of everything already. We've gotten a lot of rain this year. All right. And see how much time it's taken to, you know, cut these things out. If you were mass producing these, you could certainly do a whole bunch of these leaves. Get different color combinations, get them all ready to go. All right, and there we go. Okay, seeing as how we are done stamping, or, well, technically we're not done. We need to do our speckles. Grab the early espresso, and in here, there is spots. Sometimes that ink does not, that paper does not want to get released, and it sticks on there. So, all right, so then there we go. And we got to do the inside of our card. We got to put speckles on there too. And I'm just going to stamp off. Oops, that one I forgot to stamp off. Oh well, we'll do the same thing on this one. And then we'll stamp off on this. And then we'll stamp off on that. And so, oops, we'll stamp off on that one. There we go. So some of them are louder speckles, some of them are quieter speckles done in the background. Okay, so we are really done stamping now. So we'll move those over, get rid of the paper Stampin' Pearson mat. All right, so this thing right here is 2x2. So I am going to use my people poker off my take your pick tool, and I am going to go up 2 lines and right there, and I'm just gonna weeble wobble a hole in the center so that I know that I am putting that directly in the half, and that I have something to cut to. All right, then now we're going to go, because the people who cut up the center, I can't do that. I have tried that many, 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 many times, and it's always over to one side, just a little bit bigger, and it drives me crazy when it is not like it's supposed to be. All right, so we're going to grab the Stampin' Cut Emboss machine, and we're going to put these two through it. All right. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the mini corrugate folder, and when you open this up, the logo is always the top, and so there is a black line there, so I am going to line that up and close that folder. We're going to put that in. The hinge always goes in first because, oops, ha, I forgot. I took the whole thing out. You need number one. I'm like going, boy, that is going in really easy. You need number one, your 3D embossing folder, and then your dark gray plate, which is number 4. And that goes through. Like, duh. And then just crank that through, and you have this really cool mini corrugate piece. Isn't that fun? Okay, so we're going to put that there. We're going to move that, and then we're going to grab the adapter, number 2, number 3 cutting plate, and put our stamped image down, and we're going to put this, we're going to try to knock off or not cut off any of the words, the letters, and then we're going to put that through here, and that's at an angle. And the reason why is because it has a flat edge, and anytime you go through the rollers and you put a flat edge in, you do not hear a lot of those noises, those clunks, and it puts less pressure on your wheels by doing that. So you can help save that from, and see, isn't that pretty? That different edge. Okay, so now we can get ready to put this together. I'm just going to put that through. That way when I carry this over, I won't drop anything. Okay, so I'm going to check this because I want to see, cool. When I put this underneath, because this is corrugated, it changes your length, and so I just wanted to make sure it's stuck in there just fine. I'm going to grab my silicone mat so that I'm going to put it on this side, so I am going to put on adhesive, and we're going to lay that down, and I can kind of see through my Stampin' Pearson mat, or to my glass mat. So I'm going to put it on there straight. And there we go. And then we're going to put on adhesive. Because it's corrugated, we want to make sure it's going to stay. And according to the card that we made, card number 6, it's kind of over to the left-hand side. So like I said, I'm using previous Facebook Lives as an idea as to what to do.
and to recreate them, because you can't go back into my Facebook Lives now and see this card, because that was Facebook Live number 7, hashtag number 7. This one is hashtag number 420. So they are eliminated. So we're not going to be able to see them anymore. So I am giving you new ones so that you can follow along. Okay, so now we're going to put dimensionals on the back side, and it looks like I need to use my craft and rubber scissors. These scissors are no longer available from Stampin' Up. They were back in the days, if you've been around Stampin' Up a long time like I have. Back in the days, we had red rubber that came to us, and we had to cut them out ourselves. And we don't have to do that anymore. However, I still trim my red rubber stamps, and every once in a while I'll have to trim a photopolymer. And I have done stamp surgery, which means cutting a stamp into 2 parts based upon the needs of what I use. Okay, so I'm going to take my people poker and just stab and grab those backings and just throw them away in my little trash. Part of keeping, oops, this one didn't get all the way off. Part of trying to keep my desk clean, I always have a little trash bin on my table. And that has helped me keep my area a little bit more organized and less clutter. Because when it's too cluttered, I can't see things, and I have a really hard time finding things where they're supposed to be. All right, so we're going to put dimensionals on those, on the greeting, and so we're going to go 1 and 2. All right, and then stab and grab those backings. 1 and 2. Throw those away. Okay, so that is going to go right here, just a tad bit underneath that leaf, but I'm not trying to cut off any words. So there we go. And I think that needs to be just a little bit, there we go. Now it's not crooked. All right, so then these guys, let's see, how do we want them to go? All right, so this one's going to hide up here, like that. And then this one is going to hide right there. And that one right there. Okay, I like that. So let's put adhesive on them. Now, in the Designer Series paper, it does not list Cajun Craze, but I thought that the Cajun Craze went well with that weave that's on the inside there. So that's where I got that from. And not saying that you can't do that. There we go. And there. There we go. I like that. Okay. Then we're going to put the... Now, one of the tips that I like to tell that I've been, ever since ours came on the corrugate, I have been saying, put a little snip at the top or at the bottom. It depends on where you are in your unshuffling. And also, see how curly it is? Take your fingernails and rub them together, and it really straightens that out. Now, I don't have very many fingernails. My fingernails rip off and they peel, so they're not the best. So when I say your fingernails, go ahead, use your fingernails. Now, if you don't have fingernails and you're worse off than me, maybe on your scissors. You know how, like, when you do curling ribbon, you can do that with your paper snips. Now, just to let you know, paper snips are no longer available. The manufacturer who made them, is no longer making them. So Stampin' Up! Is searching for replacements for that. Okay, now I might want to trim this off a little bit more, but we're going to use a mini glue dot and throw that. Okay, and I have one that I almost threw away, and I'm like, no, 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 I am not throwing that away. I paid for it. I do not believe in throwing it away. All right. So now that is our card so far. All right, let's throw that back in the trash. And I put this here to help me reveal the next one in line. So that one's right there. So I just leave that stay on. Okay, now I'm going to roll this back up, and whichever end it's closest to, I can go back to this one and put that in. Now it can go back in its bag and not unravel. And I believe this would be the crumb cake color, because that's the gray granite, white, vanilla, and black. I really, really love this Baker's Twine Essential Pack because it is essential. Okay, and so now let's go and remove, let's trim this off a little bit. And that one. And put the scissors back. And we're going to get rid of the mat. And we're going to put on the clear. These are in the online store. And we're going to put, oops, I'm going to put my, where did my People Poker lid go? There it is. I'm going to put that back on. And we're going to use the Silly Putty edge. And I'm going to grab one and put that right there. And then we're going to put another one right at the end. And then we're going to grab a small one. And we're going to put that right by that leaf. So we created a triangle. Now you may not see it very well on the it's faceted like a rhinestone, and so it is kind of sparkly. Can you see that through the camera? There it is, a little bit. Okay, so we're going to put that back in. You know what? I'm going to go like this, because that bugs me. And these are in the Celebratory Sips Sweet Collection. So if you punch in gems, all in the search bar, anything with the word gems will pop up. And it doesn't matter if it's low profile gems or if they're sparkly gems, they'll come up. And I love that search bar. Okay, now we're going to take the Wink of Stella, because, you know, we got to wink everything, right? And we're going to grab the Stampin' Pearson mat because we're dealing with colors. Now, let me show you what you do when you have what's distinctive stamping, okay? So when this dries, the idea of the coloration, so it's a little bit darker here and lighter down there. Once you wetten that, and this has been stamped off, you are now creating a different coloration. It's no longer distinctive. So what I am going to do on here is I am just going to follow the lines of the veins, not vines, veins. And I might hit some of the Cajun craze, and I might hit some of the crumb cake. So it's going to spread. And so you may not be able to see the coloring there. And I also might hit that early espresso dot. So that could be also, but that's why when you use distinctive, you want to kind of stay away from coloring it in with, say, a blender pen or your Wink Estella, because it's going to blend all those colors in when your shading is totally and completely different, because the way Stampin' Up! Made that specific stamp. And I really love the distinctive, because then I don't have to sit there and, can you see the shininess there through the camera? Sometimes you can see it, sometimes you can't. Now I'm definitely going to shake that off, because it can transfer the colors. And so I am just going to move those. I'm going to just see right there, it's cherry cobbler. And I'm just hitting the veins. And then that way, I am not messing up with the design of that leaf. Okay. And so now, let's go in, and on the inside, you know what? We're going to do a little different technique on this one, on the inside, because I think this would be kind of fun to do. Let's take a little bit of scrap paper. Yes, they're penguins. Let's flip them over. And so we'll just go like that. And like that. Okay, so we're going to shake up my pen. We're going to squeeze until we see the... Uh-oh, it's getting down there. Let's see if I can hit it and cause some sparkles. Yeah, we're getting some sparkles. But not very many. This one's getting to the end. So let me grab another one. And let's see how this one's doing. All right, I saw some liquid move. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah. Whew. Yeah, you never wanted... Whew. Yeah, let's do that. You never want to squeeze over your image that you just got done stamping, because that will make you very grumpy if you have to redo the whole stamp. You learn from what I do, so you don't do it. All right, so now we can unveil. Okay, and see there's a little bit in there, and that card is bringing some of its from the outside it's bringing it to its inside, and I love to do that. So what do you think about this card? So you get a chance to get entered into the drawing. So if you like this, do a thumbs up or a heart. That gets your name entered into the drawing. If you leave a comment, you will get entered into the drawing. And if you share this, your name will get entered into the drawing 2 times. So thank you very much for hanging out with me on a Sunday evening. Now, don't forget, if you live in the Twin Cities, I am going to be sending out the invitation to my stamp camp. It's going to be at my apartment in Burnsville. This is one of the cards. Thank you very much, Judy. We'll be making this using the sunflower embossing folder, which is not available yet because it's out of stock, and it will be coming in mid-August. So the date of my stamp camp is Friday, August 22nd, Saturday, August 23rd, and Sunday, August 24th. So we will be coming to my apartment, and I have cats. So if you're allergic, take your Benadryl. I'll be getting that information typed up. And if you wish to be added to my email list, you can send me an email at penguinz33@outlook.com to be invited. And I will hopefully be back on Thursday after 5 o'clock. Take care, everyone. Hope you have a great week.